I don't like racing games. Well, except for one. I've actually never really liked racing games, but Kirby Air Ride has always been fun for me regardless. As a kid, I didn't understand why. As an adult, however, I at least have an idea. I'm pretty sure it's because it's a one-button game, and a thumbstick. Leave it to Sakurai to make such an accessible game while maintaining an absurdly high skill ceiling, because this game is hard. I think the most unique thing about the game is how the machines play around with the limited control scheme. Their stats have meaningful gameplay implications, and some have unique effects that all influence the controls. For example, the Wagon Star that can't charge, and the Swerve Star that can't steer. In fact, the only way to turn it is to charge it. That's my favorite one, by the way. There are positive and negative trade-offs for every machine, and each has a very different feel. Not to mention, there's actually quite a few, 19 of them. The game relies heavily on the charge button for obvious reasons, and once you realize how much it does, it becomes clear how very intentional the decision to stick to one button was. The charge button does not just charge, it's also the suction button if you're nearby an enemy, it activates boost pads because otherwise you're not touching the ground, and it uses copy abilities or shoots out stars from Kirby's mouth. That's a multitude of actions that could have been assigned to any of the other buttons, but Sakurai and his team wanted the game to be as lean as possible. But because of that, there are relatively limited combination inputs, which limits how much influence the player has when playing. So the courses need to pick up the slack, which they do. They're beautiful, flashy, and intricate. So many creative environmental hazards and different ways to use them for unique advantages. There's a shocking number of branching paths, especially with grind rails, and because of this, the courses are way bigger than I originally thought. The control scheme actually feels like it was designed first for Top Ride, which is basically just Air Ride with a top-down perspective and mini versions of the primary courses. It's not just aesthetic though. The Top Ride courses have simpler versions of the environmental obstacles from Air Ride. Only having two types of machines was also an interesting decision. Sakurai clearly wanted to keep the simplicity while still providing customization. In this case, the two machines determine the control style, directional turning or steering. I think the two are pretty balanced as... Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm bothering to talk about Air Ride and Top Ride. I never played either as a kid. I played one mode, and one mode alone. City Trial is the bomb. It's easily the most fleshed out part of the game, and really it's the main mode. And it's also why Kirby Air Ride is remembered more as a party game a la Mario Party or Smash Bros. Sakurai and the rest of the developers really were brilliant. They basically made a miniature roguelike out of a racing game. The power-ups and machines you can choose from function as a build that you then use in a bunch of really fun stadium challenges, only two of which are Air Ride races. The whole ordeal is short and snappy, so it's easy to play it over and over, and because of how City Trial works, there's tons of variety from game to game. It's really great game design. It's honestly brilliant, and I didn't care about any of it, because all I cared about doing was finding and using the legendary Air Ride machines. That's right, all I did as a kid was go into City Trial and try to find the legendary machines, specifically Dragoon, because I just wanted to fly around. I didn't care about Hydra. I just wanted to fly around with a colorful and awesome looking spaceship and see the surprisingly big city zone. It feels huge despite the fact that you're zipping around everywhere, and it's super chaotic and fun. There's a lot of hidden areas, some of which you need to build machines specifically to reach. I saw these places a lot though, because I just kept going in and trying to find Dragoon pieces every time. Honestly, playing it again reminded me of a time when I just loaded up a video game to play what I wanted to play and how I wanted to play it. I didn't care about achievements or progression or the story, I just wanted to zoom around on the pretty kite. Related to that, I did not realize that you could use the checklist to permanently unlock the legendary machines. That would have saved me a lot of time as a kid. I didn't really pay attention to the checklists at all, actually. It's a unique and clever way to handle unlocks. It incentivizes trying to play the game in many different ways and experience everything it has, despite how I used to play. They're also the gateway to an absolutely ridiculous amount of replayability to unlock everything. Seeing everything the game has to offer on its face only takes an hour or two. But 100% completing Kirby Air Ride is a monstrous task that could take literally hundreds of hours or more due to the skill-based objectives. I never realized how dense this game really is as a kid. For a game with such small scope, there sure is a crazy amount of depth. It's a lean, mean Kirby Air Ridin' machine. Hey, you made it to the end of this admittedly really short video. I had always planned on doing a short retrospective on Kirby Air Ride, and the coming release of Kirby Air Riders made for a perfect excuse to do just that. Leave a comment with your favorite mode in the game and why it's City Trial, and please consider liking and subscribing if you've enjoyed this. On screen is another analysis video and another video that you might like. Thanks so much for watching.